Hey guys, in this video we are going to be taking a look at a program by the name of Recreate, an all-in-one content creation solution that can be utilized for marketing purposes on social media. That will allow you to have access to a load of useful tools all in one place. So make sure to keep watching until the end of the video, and we will be discussing some of the product's features, services, product pricing, and we will be diving into the members area where I'll be showing you some tips of the tools and how to actually use them within the platform itself, so that you can actually get an informed decision to decide if this will be a good fit for you to help you create content and to grow your online business. So before we actually get started, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be updated, to be notified of any future updates. And if you do want to get access to Recreate, and also with a 50% discount, you can get access to it through my link below, first linked in the description, so that you can go and check it out. So if you've never heard of Recreate, it's actually an all-in-one solution for creating content that you can use for promoting and marketing on social media. It actually has an in-depth suite of tools that you can utilize to actually get started, that can actually simplify the processes of you creating content. You don't actually need to be on camera to create the content. Everything actually in here is pretty much can be done for you. They've loads of templates and there's access to some very unique features and that actually will help you. It has actually a lot of potential, and there's definitely room for a lot of growth, and this definitely has the potential to be a fantastic platform. Again, they are currently updating it, so they're adding in new updates and they're adding in new features. So, but from what is available currently right now, it actually does have a very unique set of tools that can really help you speed up your process for creating content, whether it can be from the likes of creating Instagram posts, like even like for other social media types, even using like text to speech tools, and even creating videos, adding in scripts, so you don't have to worry about actually being on camera. So they actually do come with a lot of like pre-made templates. They do have access to tools like you can actually create videos from actual blog post articles or articles that you've written yourself. So that's actually a really cool feature, and then you can add your own audio on top of that, or even do your own voiceovers. You can create your own posts, like I said, for social media. They also have a unique background remover tool as well, if you want to remove certain elements from likes of photographs or images and you don't want to have the exact background that you want to use in your content, you can do that. They've also got another tool as well with text to speech, so you can literally, like pretty much the same as with the article to video. If you want to have just a voiceover, you can literally just write out a piece of content, say on a notepad file or a Word document, and you can copy and paste it into that tool, and then you can create an audio file based off that. And they have loads of different types of audio voices that you can use, and we'll dive into this more inside the members area. They've also got their own image editor as well, so if you do want to edit your own images and add in your own different types of details and so forth. They do actually have a whiteboard animation creator as well, for those that want to add a bit more creativity to their videos, and you can also record your own voiceovers like I mentioned. So there's definitely a unique set of tools here. The whole premise around Recreate is to actually have all the most useful tools that people use on a regular basis with regards to content creation, to actually have it all in the one place. Because a lot of the time, as we all know, when we're creating content, whether we're creating videos or blog posts or we're doing Instagram posts, we have to dive in and out of multiple programs at a time to be able to create the content that we want. Like if you're creating designs, you may have to use Canva or Trello or Snappa, or if you use Photoshop or whatever, or you may have to use other tools in order to remove the backgrounds. Then you have to go into other tools and to record your voiceovers or your videos and so forth. This here actually simplifies the process by having all of those core tools all in the one place. So as you can see here, pricing, you can actually get started with the platform for free, which is actually really good. You can get access to a load of the tools and features, and even try out some of the templates inside, so that you can get a feel for how it may be a good fit for you and just see what actually works. But if you want to decide to opt in, you can gain access to both either a basic or premium plan. The cost differs per month depending on which one you actually choose, so depending on whether you want to go for monthly or for the likes of the yearly subscription, the price will definitely differ. So if you decide to pay annually, you'll get a discounted price. So it's definitely up to yourself what you can actually work with. So if you do decide to opt into any of these ones, even for the basic one, even that'd be just for like one person using this, it removes all of the limitations. You can get access to the likes of not having watermarks on your videos or your content, and you can have higher resolution video content as well, up to like 1080p, so you're not restricted to the 720p that's on the free version. And then if you access the premium version, again you get access to a load more features. You can utilize it where you can actually have other people using the content and inside as well, in the tools. They also have access to a load of useful, quick and simple tutorials that will actually teach you how to quickly use some of the elements and the tools within the platform. Again, nothing here is really overcomplicated. The tools inside are actually fairly simplistic and very easy to use, that a beginner will be able to pick them up very, very quickly. So again, you can definitely have a look at the tutorials if you are unsure about how to use anything. You also gain access to a load of different FAQs, and they have a page designated to frequently asked questions, so you can actually find out pretty much any question that you think you may need help with. They pretty much have an answer for it, and they categorize it in different categories pretty much, so that pretty much most of your questions will be answered inside. So they've really thought ahead with this by putting this all together. So there's definitely a lot of information here, so you can feel free to actually have a look in it and see if there is anything here that you may find relevant. So we'll quickly dive into the members area, and I'll show you around the tools and the features. And what I'll do is we'll do a few demos of showing the processes of each of the tools in action, so that you can get a feel of how they actually work. So we are just inside the members area of the platform, and as you can see here, you can access some of the tools and features that you can get started with straight away. So whenever you've created projects or so forth, you can gain access to the likes of the FAQs through this icon here. You can access your projects on this tab. What you can also do is you can go into your account settings, and you can upgrade your account from here. As you can see here, I'm on the free plan, but once you upgrade, you can gain access to better video quality, and you can remove the recreate branding from likes of your content. Also, what you can do is you can add in a coupon code, which I have access to, that you will get 50% off if you decide to subscribe through the link below. Use that code and you will get 50% off whatever the price is that you, or for the platform that you decide to actually sign up for, should you decide to upgrade. So again, I'll leave the link down below so that you can check it out. But you can change all of your information and settings. If you do have any issues, you can contact the support team and support staff, and they will actually help you. You do have access to a load of custom made or pre-made templates that are ready for different social media platforms. You have templates for YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, even Twitter, Snapchat. So there's definitely a lot of useful elements here that can actually help you to actually get started. So you can still jump into any of the other tools within this window here. You can search for different templates. So primarily you can actually scroll through the templates that are available. They have different ones depending on different type of elements. Say if for the larger ones, 16:9, these would primarily be for likes of video and so forth, but then you have the other ones on the ratio of 1:1, that would be for likes of Facebook posts and likes of your Instagram posts or story posts. So when you find a template that you actually want to utilize, you can just click on it. You can select the aspect ratio of whether you want to have a full screen or set for mobile, or even again, like I said, for Instagram stories and so forth. You will also gain an access to a preview of the actual template in action, because you can use it as a video. So this just gives you a quick overview of what it will look like on your screen when you go to use it, or for whenever your viewers go to see it. As you can see here, you can add in your own logos and add in your own text. So quickly just going to dive into this template real quick, just to show you how you can actually use it to get set up. So now that we're in the editing area of the window here, as you can see here, we're using kind of like an infographic, so we can use this for like banners or advertisements or so forth. Now we do have access to certain features, so you can still change the resolution and the aspect ratio, again depending on the version that you have. If you have one of the paid versions, you can have access up to 1080p in resolution, but the free version limits you to 720p. But honestly, the free version for this is more than enough, especially for getting started, because most devices anyway, it won't really matter when you're looking on mobile devices. So you can copy elements, you can select an element on the screen, you can copy it, you can also paste it, and you can drag it around. You can layer it on top of each other, so you can send it backward or send it forwards. so you can have it beneath or above certain other elements on the screen. You can play the image or the video. You can set the duration of the video as well. You can undo or redo content. Also, you can delete the elements. So if you want to delete a specific element on the screen, you select it and you select this button, delete element, and that will delete it. There is also another delete action down below, but this will delete the entire scene. So you just have to be careful between the two, because you don't want to have to go through all your hard work of doing something and accidentally clicking on this. But you should be still able to undo it anyway. But you just want to make sure that if you're only deleting an element, just use this button. But if you're deleting the whole scene, you use this. But you can also crop certain features in or out of the scene, and you can even add in your own voiceovers as well. Also, what you can do, you have access to like different overlays and set features that you can utilize to put on top of the likes of your videos. They do have some stock footage inside. You get live previews that shows you the content in action. You can also search for the likes of stock images, so it'll probably search the likes of free to use resource sites like Pexels, Pixabay, Unsplash and so forth for free stock images. But you can also upload your own images, so you can, if you have any files on your computer that you've downloaded, you can drag them onto here and then you will actually have them inside of this folder. So what you can do is you can click and then you can just drag it on top or into the element if you do have any images. You can add in text, you can change the fonts. They've loaded different style fonts. You can set the line spacing, you can set the text alignment, you can change the font size, you can actually change the font colors if you so wish, and you can even change the background color of the image as well, or you can even set it to transparent. It's totally up to yourself. And also you can bold the text, you can set it to italic, you can underline it, and there's a couple of other elements here that you can utilize if you want to add any extra features onto your text. So you can actually highlight individual sections within your text and you can make adjustments to them if you so wish. You can also add in different elements, design elements. You can add in like different shapes like rectangles, circles, as you can see here. You can add in your own stroke colors. You can change the fill colors of certain elements as well if you want. You can also change the angle or the skew of the object on the screen. You can also change the opacity, whether you want it to appear in full color or whether you want it to be somewhat transparent. You can also select different gradient colors. You can have different colors fading into each other, and you can also set the gradient type, whether you want it linear or radial. You do have access to advanced features, but again you will need to unlock pro versions or the paid versions to unlock these extra features for these other filters and so forth. So you do also have access to certain elements or animation elements also. So you can actually highlight specific elements and then you can change how things actually move, whether they fade in, fade out. It's totally up to you how you actually want it. You can set the duration of when they fade in and fade out. You can lock the contents within that layer as well. And you can go through each of the individual elements. When you actually highlight something, it will actually correlate and actually select the actual element that is on the screen, on the box here. So you know exactly what you're selecting. You can also add in more text. You can even upload your own logos. So here you can upload your own logo. You can set your own brands and so forth. You can change the text colors. Again, pretty much anything that's here you can walk away with. You can add more presets, but again you will need to opt into the paid version to be able to unlock those features. So you do have access then to different transitions, so you can have the elements fade in and out, bounce up and down on the screen, spin around. They do have access to a load of different ones here that you can utilize, that you can make it your own pretty much. Also what they actually have is they do have a cool feature where you can add in certain like elements and music. You can even upload, if you have any free to use music that won't get you in trouble, you'll be able to upload it here as well. Another thing that you can do also as well is that you can preview the tracks also, and even what you can actually do is you can also download the actual tracks. You can highlight the track, make sure that you highlight on the grey section, and you can actually highlight it, save audio as, and you can actually save it, and it will save it as an MP3 file to your computer. So that's quite cool, especially if you want to add it into say some other video project with say your another video editor and so forth. So they've actually access to a load of different musical elements and soundtracks. They do have other versions or other songs now, but again you would need to opt into the paid version to be able to access a lot more of the content. So you can also set up stories. You can just go through all the features here And when you're actually ready to go, you can add in like different timelines, even if you want to add in like new scenes, if you want the scenes to play longer or shorter, and you can remove them. This here now would be, it's just a representation of the timeline of how long it actually is, but you can shorten it or lengthen it depending on the content that's involved. So when you hit these buttons on the side underneath the play button, as you can see here, it's 5 seconds, but when I decrease it, you can see the bar down below is actually getting shorter and shorter. So you can alternate it and edit it how you wish. And again, you can delete the scenes, you can add in other features. So if you want to play it, you can just test it out. You just hit this play button and you can test it. And like I showed you, like with the likes of the animations, you can select all the different type of variations of the animations, how they actually transition in and out of the screens. So you can change all these elements, so that when you actually go to preview it, you can have all these elements coming in from whatever angles and so forth that you so wish. So primarily this would actually be a cool feature for just doing like a short overlay video, or even if you want to create like a content break in your videos where you just want to have maybe like a call to action, like say even asking people to subscribe, say on a YouTube video, or even like if you're doing say something like this here for the likes of an Instagram post or some form of media, just to remind people of your content and your brand, so that you can put something together really quick in this. Again, the tools here are usable. They are basic, so they will be more aimed for like a beginner, but they are useful enough for a beginner to literally come in and just mess around and just tweak with the settings and so forth, and just create something in a matter of only a couple of minutes. So it's definitely something to look into. So we'll just move on and we'll just quickly have a look at some of the rest of the tools inside of the platform. So we'll quickly just move on to the text to video tool. So they do have access to quite a few templates here that will actually help you to get started. Now there wouldn't be as many templates here compared to say other platforms online, but this here will still be enough to actually help you get started. So we'll just pick something here that will actually help us. Again, you can select the aspect ratio, whether you want it for mobile or like the desktop. So when you found one, you just choose it. If you actually have an article URL from like say your blog, you can just paste in the URL and it will take all the contents from it. Or if not, we can just take text that we have from a file and we can just copy and paste it in, and we can just click submit. Now even though the text is here is actually relatively short, but I just want to give you an overview of how simple this actually is. So again, like so of the other tools here, you can add in other media. There's different types of images and so forth. You can add in other scenes if you want to transition the scenes. It has a very similar setup to a program called Vidnami, if you have ever heard of it. I've actually done previous videos on it. I'll make sure to drop a link below in the description so that you can check it out. It has a similar kind of setup where you can add in scenes underneath other scenes so that you can keep the video going, and adding in content and text. So they use a similar type of tools. So you can also add in again your own content, features, animations. So you can add in your own designs. Again, you will need to make sure that you select canvas to be able to have access to some of these tools. So again, you can change the format, you can copy and paste certain elements, you can layer or stack different elements above or below certain other elements on the screen, you can remove elements, you can undo, redo, and you can test or set the time of the scene. So we're just going to quickly just test it. So if you have any audio tracks, you can also add in audio tracks to playlist as well. So you can drag your files in here, and then you can drag the file onto the likes of the timeline here, so that it actually will sync with the video itself. But again, you can also still test out some of the audio tracks here, and you can actually see if you can find one that will actually best suit or best fit your video. The one thing to note as well, because again this is still an early project and there's still a lot of things that they're updating, when you do update your uploads, if you do have files, you can drag them onto the timeline here and they will actually populate inside, and you can cut them and you can edit them and change them. But the ready to use ones that they actually have here, even though you can highlight it and you can test it and preview it, it doesn't allow you to fully integrate it with the play setting when you actually go to do it. So even though it's highlighted, it doesn't sync with it. But not only that, when you try to drag it onto the timeline, it doesn't actually work. So I don't know whether this is an issue that they actually have to update it. So for the minute, it only seems to work with actual files that you actually drag in yourself, that you've actually uploaded. As an example here, I'll just upload a file and I'll just drag it in. So as you can see here, once you actually have a file uploaded inside of your files folder, you can click and you can drag it, and you can drag the file onto the timeline. It just won't allow you to actually drop the actual file that's already on the preview window onto the file for whatever reason. Again, you can take in the audio file and you can cut it, you can snip it, you can set it to however long you want. If you want it to be 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and again you can preview it. The simplest solution pretty much if you're wanting to add in any voiceover would be actually to go in and use the other tool, the text to speech tool on this platform. Save the file out and then actually re-upload the file and drag it in here, and then that will actually get it to work a lot better than actually having to use whatever features are in this section. Because working on the timeline here, when you go to drag in elements, sometimes it can be a little bit fiddly and it doesn't always work 100% from having played around with it. It's hard to implement it. Sometimes it can be difficult. So that's the thing that so far I think that does need a bit of improvement, because it's not as straightforward. It should be easier to implement that. But again, it's still in the works, they're still updating the platform, so it's something that they will be able to iron out over time. So we're quickly just going to move on and have a quick look at the whiteboard animation features tool. So currently at the moment they only actually have one template, and this also relates to the blank template section as well, because they've only just got one template, so it relates to both of them. So we can access the actual template, we can change the orientation again, add in and edit certain elements inside. You can have different types of images that can actually be drawn in. It does have the same feature like with the audio that I mentioned in the previous section, so it's still going to be a bit fiddly because it's not as simplistic to use. It's still in the beta phase, so it's still kind of in the works. It's something that will be improved on over time. So what you can do is you can edit any of the sections inside, you can edit the text, you can upload your own drawings, images. Again, you can change the font sizes. You can set up different types of animations for the likes of the content that's already there. But what we can do is as well, if we want to just have plain images, we can actually add in images. So we can add it in as a new layer we can replace. So we can just add it in here, for instance. And what we can actually do, if you want to add in more scenes, we can do that also. So you can drag in more scenes if you want. You can resize them to how you wish. So again, you can change different categories. We can add in other elements as well, and what we can do is we can just test it out and play it. So we can also set the duration. We can either increase the seconds or we can decrease it, and we can try these out as well again. Now what it does is it will draw the images into the screen, but it's not like it wouldn't be as advanced as other type of whiteboard software where you can actually have elements where you can actually have a hand that comes in and physically draws the elements. This here just does it on its own, but again you can set the speed and duration to actually how long you want it to be. So the longer it is, the slower it'll be for the animation to be drawn in on the screen. The shorter it is, it'll be drawn in instantly. So as you can see here, now again with the likes of these drawings that are coming in, it is drawing them as you can see, but there's no animations to them. So, but again, you can still use it as a visual representation to discuss or do a video overlay to discuss the topic in general on your video. So whenever you've actually decided you want to use this and you've actually added in your content, again, if you want to add in any text or any other features and so forth, when you're happy you can preview the video and you can download it. So as you can see here, it's just creating a quick preview of the video, and then if you're happy enough, then you can actually download the file if you so wish. It's totally up to yourself. You just have to play around with it and just get familiar with the tools and features inside the editor here. Again, the audio section where you're dragging in the audio again is a bit on the fiddly side. I think it's definitely something that needs to be improved because it's not as easy to implement. Yeah, you can drag files onto it, but you can't use the files or the audio that's already here, and it doesn't seem to sync with it. So obviously that's something that they will improve over time. So we'll quickly just move on. So we're quickly just going to have a look at the text-to-speech tool, and what it's going to do is it's going to give you access to a number of different voice styles that you can utilize. Again, you can also utilize them in the likes of different languages and so forth if you so wish, but we're just going to keep it in English US setting for now. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the text that I made earlier. I'm just going to paste it in here. So even if you want to, you can preview the text beforehand.
Hi, my name is Ava. I will read any text you type here.
So that just gives you a preview of some of the other versions. So you have male voices and female voices.
Hi, my name is Thomas. I will read any text you type here.
Right, so it's very simple. All you have to do is just paste the text in that you actually have copied from your file, and all you want to do is click on the voice that you want to use so that it highlights it, and then you just want to click on create, and what it'll do is it'll set up a preview of the file.
If you are finding this review to be helpful, Consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon to be notified of future videos.
So what we're going to do, we're just going to test out the male voice as well. So we are just going to test out the male voice this time.
If you are finding this review to be helpful, consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon to be notified of future videos.
Now the voices actually sound okay. The only thing I will notice with this here, because again it's very basic, there's no way of being able to change the overall speed or duration of the voice, or even to change the pitch so that you can actually have a higher tone or a lower tone or deeper or lighter voice. That feature seems to be missing when you compare it to likes of other platforms, the likes of Voice Maker, Lumen 5 or even Speechallo. All these tools actually have a lot of advanced features that allow you to be able to manipulate the voice so that you can adjust the speech to a point where you can raise the pitch and so forth, so that you can alter the voice to suit your own needs. So this here, now it's fine for what it is. Again, you can kind of tell a little bit that it is kind of like computer generated, but again it's still a work in progress, and it is something that will be upgraded in time, but you can still use this for now. So when you're happy with it, with the file, you can just come on here to the three dots, you can click on it and you can click on download, and that will download your file. So we're quickly just going to have a look at the remove background tool. Now this one here is just fairly simple. You just upload an image that you have in your folder, and you need to give it a few moments just to load up. So you can actually come in and edit. You can erase certain elements, you can restore elements, you can change the burst size, or you can zoom in or zoom out. When you're ready, you can just click on save. What it will actually do is it will actually remove the image on the background. Just note as well that when you're using the free version, you are restricted to how many files that you can actually upload. You're only able to upload between, I think, is it 3 to 5 or 10 files, and then what actually happens is it gives you like credits, so you actually have then to purchase more credits or upgrade to the other version to unlock the restrictions. So it's just something to be aware of when you're using the free version. So last up, we're quickly just going to have a look at the image editor. So you can come in, you can choose a template, you can set it up whether you want it to be a YouTube template, Instagram, Facebook, and they do have access to other ones like LinkedIn and so forth. It's a basic image editor that'll be similar to likes of platforms if you've seen the likes of Canva, Trello, Snapper. I actually have done previous videos on each of those. I'll drop links down in the description so that you can go and check them out also, because they are really good alternatives. This here now, for what it is, it's perfect for beginners because you can add you can add in your own text, you can upload your own images, you can drag and move stuff around, you can upload your own content, you can add in more text, change the space, and you can do all the elements that you need. You can add in your own design features, change the width, stroke, opacity. You can add in different filters whether you want to actually blur the image, so you can set it, contrast of it as well, the hue, saturation. You can set all the different tones and features, so it does give you access to them to blend everything in. You can put everything on different layers, so you can move them above or below, so you can have everything above and below. So you can zoom in or zoom out, you can copy and paste, again you can change the formats, you can undo and redo, you can delete specific elements, and when you're ready with the content you can change it as you wish. You can just click on export and you will be able to export it as a PNG file. So it's fairly simplistic. It's just a basic image editor, and it's ideal for beginners. If you're not really too familiar with graphic design and you just want to create something really quick, this here will actually be perfect. So I just want to share with you some of my final thoughts before we wrap up this video. So what do I actually think of the platform in general? I actually do like the platform. It has all the tools that you could need, that's all in the one place. It is primarily aimed for beginners. Beginners will really get the best use out of this. The editors are simple for the most part to use. There's plenty of additional assets and features that are available. You can create content very quickly with it. You don't have to kind of just overthink things. You can just get in, get what you need done and move on. The free version is more than enough for beginners to get started. It is a good place for beginners primarily if you have no experience with using any of these type of graphic design kind of tools or content creation tools. So what are the cons? There are some elements, mainly with adding audio to timelines, I found a little bit fiddly, and it just didn't seem to transition too well, especially with the content that's already there, and when you did add it in, it didn't sync properly. And even trying to add in, even though it does show in the tutorials how to actually sync audio to go on to different scenes, it still seemed to be hard to do. It didn't seem to be straightforward to do. Even though the tools are simplistic, that element of it definitely, in my opinion, opinion, now this is only just my opinion, but I definitely think that it works, but there definitely could be room for improvement just to simplify the process a little bit better. Some of the tools, even though they do work, but they are probably a little bit too basic, and pretty much that goes into the next part here. What it can be cumbersome at times with the likes of the text to speech tool, because there's no other alternative elements to be able to change some of the pitches on the voices to make them higher or lower, or even to speed up the voices so that you can alter the variations of the voices. So it is a bit simplistic that way. Plus I found that when you actually added text in, now it could be due to my internet connection, but I found that when I tested one voice, I was previewing like say a female voice, and then I wanted to use the same text to try and preview the male voice, it would just tend to crash. So I'd have to log out and log back in or reload the page to fix the problem. Also, there are limitations on the use of the free version as well in terms of the content or image file uploads, because after a while you'll only be able to upload a handful of images or content, and then you'll actually be asked then to purchase, so you can't upload anymore, so you're asked then to purchase credits and so forth. So like I totally get it, like with the free version, like obviously there's always going to be limitations, but it's just something to note that if you are using the free version, that there is going to be certain limitations, especially if you're uploading files and so forth, that there is only a select amount of uses that you can use before you actually are required then to pay. So it's just something to actually think about. But overall, for what it is, apart from a few niggly bits, again, it's still in development, it's still ongoing. There is a lot of fiddly bits in some of the tools, yes, but there is a lot of room for improvement, and over the course of time you imagine that there will definitely be improved. But overall, I do actually like the platform. It is very simple to use, you can get stuff done very quickly. A beginner will definitely get a lot out of this, even though with the likes of some of the tools and some of the issues I mentioned, there is workarounds that you can utilize to be able to get them to work. But the more you use it, the easier it'll actually get, and hopefully some of those issues will be ironed out. But if you do want to actually have a look at it, again, feel free to actually have a look at the free plan just to get familiar with the tools and features, and then that way then you can decide whether it is something that you want to actually look into. The one thing I do like about it mainly is the fact is that it's an all-in-one platform, that it has all the exact tools that you need pretty much for social media marketing all in the one place, so you don't really have to be going around looking for different tools and logging in and out of different tool sets to be able to do what you need to do. You have pretty much everything there, so you can focus on that and literally get everything done in half the time. But if you do want to take a look at it, again, sign up for the free account and play around with it, get used to the tools and features, see if it is something that you would like to use. And if you do feel like you want to upgrade and unlock all the features, again, check out my link below and also use the promo code. Again, I'll leave it here on the screen. Make sure that you use that when you're actually upgrading, so that way then you will get a 50% discount through the link below. So if you have found this content to be helpful, make sure to leave a like. Also make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I release future content, and also make sure to share the video. And again, also be sure to check out the link below to get access to Recreate, so that you can gain access to it and start actually using it. See if it is something that will actually be a good fit for you, for your business and creating content. And as always, I will see you in the next one.